did have on the agenda a service called paygov.net, and we chose to take it off because there was so much business, but that is another thing that I can bring forward, because it would cost the town less and it would cost the customers minimal.
Well, isn't part of the reason that you're doing the ACHs though, the auto withdrawals, is to improve the collection rate on the bills,
Yeah.
so that you don't have, you know, non-payment things, so,
Mm-hmm.
so I think there is benefit to the town.
Yeah,
It's
but
not just a benefit to the
No.
customer.
There is, but I mean,
of these people
take
that
more-
use it, how many of those are delinquent or late, or, you know, what's the percentage?
the people that use the ACH, we
Never.
have very minimal problems with it.
That's what I
I mean,
thought.
we've had 2 or 3 people that we've had to track down, and bank, you know, the routing number was entered incorrect, or they switched banks, and, you know, we've had a couple of them that didn't have
It's
enough
cost
account.
of doing business that we're gonna pass on to everybody, so 50 people can have the convenience of the service.
But she said it is growing too. I mean, more and more people
It
signing
is.
up for it.
And on the positive side, if I may, if Beth were able to call up and say, hey, you're not paying your bill, well, I'll get that to you. Well, I can't get there right now. She could say, I can take a credit card or I can take a debit card. That would be nice if she could do that.
And that's like, that $460 a year is what, like $38 a month. It's a lot less than collection fees, but.
Yeah.
It is, but it's just, I mean, you know, that paygov.net doesn't charge the town for the fee. It would charge the customer, and it's like less than $1 for the amount of payment that we have. But again, with the ACH, it's automatically withdrawn and it's guaranteed. I would like to continue using the ACH.
Well, I think it'd be best. Yeah, I think it'd be best to keep it all since everything else is there.
Well, we can always review it, after a year, or if it's not growing, then my thought is 50 customers, it might not be worth it.
Right.
But if it is indeed growing, then, as a service to customers, I would, make a motion then that we, continue with that, provide, the documentation we need to approve that.
Okay, that would just be to sign off on the agreement.
Yeah. And I'll second
Okay,
that.
but I agree.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I didn't quite get down what John's motion was.
Say your motion again, John.
Okay, well, I don't know, what do we need to do to approve this?
Well,
Just to,
you need to
assign,
sign the
approve
agreement.
their
Yeah.
agreement, is that
Or I
right?
don't think I have the original. think
I have the original.
Yeah,
here.
there's that.
Approve the First National Bank's ACH, is it a contract?
Yes.
Contract.
Agreement.
How long, what's the length of it? Perpetual?
Recall, I don't.
It's perpetual until terminated.
Okay.
So no.
I think a year would give us a better look at it, so. Okay, is that,
I'll second the motion. So do we have the original we can sign and send with them now, or? Or just sign it and come back later and get money, or what?
I assume this was not our copy.
No, I have no copy.
I thought so.
Thank you.
But you're welcome.
thanks for explaining that.
Oh, no problem.
So we're gonna sign it. Okay, John's already signed it at the one meeting, because it's based on Rita's recommendation.
Sure, I'll move that, yeah.
Okay, so then there's one page here that needs to, well, I thought I had it marked right, sorry. I need to fill that one out.
Yeah, there's a couple scheduled at the end.
Yeah, last page.
Always is.
I think you probably want to make a decision if you want to opt out of those security provisions or not. What what you're saying, if you opt out of the minimum security requirements is, oh, well, we're taking responsibility for anything that might go wrong, because we decided not to meet your minimum requirements for security,
And then that's this page.
cyber security, more accurately.
We would actually have a lot of risk, would we?
Yeah, and I think we probably have a lot of that malware already. I think he's right, we probably have a system like Symantec, or I don't know who else does it, but there's several companies, McAfee or whatever it's called. Yeah, Norton. So,
Is that everything needs signed in and that's taken care of?
And what about the opting out of the,
Nathan, may I make copies of this and bring it to you tomorrow?
Mhm.
there was an area where they have those minimum security
I have that
requirements,
Monday.
but you can choose to say, well, we're not
Hey,
gonna have
Beth,
this.
there's also a page
But we take all
for charge what
responsibility
accounts you want charged.
for
I
that.
did see that.
Okay.
Anything that goes
I
wrong.
think that's the only two
To me,
sections.
you're taking responsibility either way.
what could go wrong? They get into our system and do what?
Somebody gets on your computer and makes a huge debit out of, Doug's account, and he's a town, resident, and we don't find, we find out, cause, they call and say somebody took $5,000 out of my account. I mean, is that conceivable, Nathan, is that,
Yes.
what else could happen, what other
That's
bad
kind of
things happen?
the primary thing would be, yes, that they would gain access to the network, to the computers inside, where they would gain a username and a password or something to log in as the town and potentially originate a set of debits or those kind of things, or originate a credit, more likely to credit an account somewhere else with a large dollar amount.
If we do not have the protection we need, is that readily available? Can we,
Yeah, all those minimum protections, most of those are industry standard. Like I said, most of those would be taken care of just by some simple antivirus security package,
I've
your
already,
standard security that's in the browsers when it connects, that kind of stuff.
I have already started the process
Good.
for this.
And
And
I
one
would,
of them was installed this afternoon. And I've already made a phone call to a possible IT guy, but considering I have to make sure they're, verified and make sure they can do business with the government, I need to make contact with them. But I have already started it.
so we need a motion to waive those provisions?
Well, I don't think it sounds like you're opting out, I think it sounds like you're meeting the requirements,
Okay.
right? You're gonna.
Yeah, she's
install-
working on it. You
I
don't
would
meet 'em.
really like
Yeah, so
to
you
meet
don't
the
have to opt out.
requirements. I would really like to meet the requirements.
Yeah, I would
Oh,
too.
you need it anyway for the
Yeah.
town
So,
security.
too. All right.
Smart.
Excuse me, Tom?
I said, that's smart, Chief.
Oh.
Yeah.
If we meet your
Right,
requirements.
yeah.
Do that, like,
I mean, I would like to have,
Your people putting the firewall in, doing what's required and giving the training, and,
Yeah.
I think that we're money ahead.
I'd like to have the written security procedures and all of that,
Okay. Nathan, thanks. You guys are,
No problem.
or you can leave wherever you wanna do, but.
Thank you.
Move on. Next item